Hello students. In this problem, we have three identical conducting plates which are parallel to each other. Plate number 1 is at the top side and plate number 2 and 3 are in contact with each other at the bottom side. The top plate, which is plate 1, is connected to a switch open at the initial moment. That switch is connected to the negative terminal of the battery, and from the positive side of the battery, the plate 2 is connected. Plate 3 is placed over the plate 2 but not stick. It is not stick to the plate 2. It is just kept over the plate number 2. That means plate number 3 is free to jump upward. And that is what going to happen in this question. When the key is closed, this key is closed. For some reason, plate number 3 will jump upward. It will move upward, and then ultimately it will collide with the plate number 1. And we have to find out the necessary conditions for this collision to take place. That means what can be the minimum value of the voltage U, which can allow the plate number 3 to move upward and then collide with plate number 1, right? So for this to happen, we have to find the minimum possible value of this applied voltage U. And if you want, you can try this question and then come back later for the solution part, right? So here is the solution for this question. On the bottom side, we have two diagrams on the left side and the right side. The first diagram is just after closing the switch, and the second diagram is after plate 3 has left the plate number 2. So just after switch is closed, first of all, we will consider the situation just after the switch is closed. It is just like a capacitor. Plate number 1 will be charged by a negative value of say minus Q charge. It will be charged by minus Q. And plate number 3, top side of the plate number 3 will be charged by positive Q. And this charge can be easily calculated as capacitance multiplied by the potential difference, which I denote as V. This V and U are same. We are habitual of writing voltages as V. Some textbook write it capital U. Okay, so capacitance can be written as A epsilon over distance D times this voltage V. That's the very first question. This is the charge on plate number 3. So just after closing the switch, the plate number 3 has a charge of plus of capital Q and plate number 1 has a charge of minus of capital Q. Now, after the plate 3 has left plate number 2, when the plate 3 left plate number 2, the total charge on the plate number 3 has to be plus Q by the conservation of charge. By the conservation of charge, the plate 3 will still have the same amount of charge, which is plus Q. But this charge will be now distributed on the two sides of plate number 3. This charge will be distributed on the two sides of this plate number 3. Right? So I denote sigma 1. Let us denote that sigma 1 density of charge is on the top side of plate number 3. And sigma 2 minus sigma 2 is the density on the bottom side of plate number 3. Minus of sigma 1 will be on the lower side of plate 1, and plus of sigma 2 will be on the top side of plate 2. So after plate 3 has left the plate 2, we have basically 3 plates separated from each other. So there will be some distribution of charge. But do remember that for a system of parallel plate, the facing surfaces must have the same charge densities with opposite signs to follow the Gauss law. So these are now charge densities, and corresponding to these charge densities, we can write down the electric field between the plate 2 and 3 denoted by E1, and the electric field between the plate 3 and plate 1 denoted by E2. So now you can write down these electric fields. Okay. So I can write down the electric field E2 in terms of densities. Okay. So I can write down the electric field E2. Let us change the symbols. I write it sigma 2, and sigma 1 I will write at the bottom side. Okay. So now sigma 2 is the density of charge. Sigma 2 is the density of charge between plate 1 and 3, and sigma 1 is the density of charge between the plate 2 and plate 3. So therefore E2 can be written as sigma 2 divided by epsilon 0, and E1 can also be written as sigma 1 divided by epsilon 0. So you can write down these electric fields E1 and E2. And in terms of E1 and E2, we can find out in terms of E1 and E2, you can find out the value of sigma 2 and the value of sigma 1. And from conservation of charge, notice that the total charge on plate number 3 is plus Q. So plus Q, which is the total charge on plate 3, has to be total density of charge on the top side, which is sigma 2, and the density of charge on the bottom side minus sigma 1 multiplied by area A1. And we can replace sigma 1 and sigma 2 in terms of the electric fields. So sigma 2 can be written as epsilon multiplied by E2, and sigma 1 can be written as epsilon multiplied by E1. and therefore you will get epsilon A, and then you will get E2 minus E1, and here you will have capital Q, which is basically A epsilon V over D. Solving this equation, if you solve it, you will get E2 minus E1 now. Okay, so E2 minus E1, you can find out the value of E2 minus E1 as V over D. That's the first question, first equation. E2 minus E1 is now V over D. Further, if you apply, if I apply that the potential difference, further I am going to apply this concept that the potential difference delta V is minus times E vector dot delta R vector. So applying this concept, the potential difference from plate 2 to plate 3, right? The potential difference from plate 2 to plate 3, this potential difference, and then from plate 3 to plate 1, this potential difference. Sum of these two potential difference must be equal to capital U also. So the potential difference which is between the plate 2 and 3 and plus the potential difference between the plate 3 and 1 has to be equal to capital V, that is the supply voltage. And the potential difference in a magnitude form you can write down at product of electric field and the separation. So because the electric fields are uniform, so we can write down potential difference in its magnitude form as a product of electric field and the separation between the plates. So delta V23, we can write down that E1 into the separation between the plates is small x, plus delta V31 can be written as E2 into the separation is now D minus x, and then it is equals to V. That is my second equation. So now we have obtained two equations. Okay, we have obtained two equations for E1 and E2, and I can solve them simultaneously. Even you can solve them simultaneously. And if you solve these two equations simultaneously, you can find out what is the value of E1 and what is the value of E2. Right. So solving these two equations simultaneously, you will get E1 as, okay, if you solve these two equations, you can simply get the value of E1 and E2, and the value of E1 and E2, which you will get as equal to V by D into X, V by D into X, and the value of E2 will be V by D, sorry, it will be X by D also. V by D into, it will be D plus X divided by D. So this is the value for E1 and E2. You will get the values of E1 and E2 by solving the previous two simultaneous equations. After that, now we have obtained E1 and E2, right? So once we have obtained E1 and E2, we can clearly obtain now values of sigma 1 and sigma 2 also. Because we have now obtained the electric field E2, we have obtained the electric field E1. So therefore, we can find out what is the value of sigma 2, what is the value of sigma 1, right? So these charge densities can be obtained now, which means this minus sigma 2, the density minus sigma 2, here it was plus sigma 2, then it was minus sigma 1, and then it was plus sigma 1. So you can find out, you can write down that sigma 2 will be epsilon multiplied by E2, which is V by D into D plus X by D. And then you can write down sigma 1 as epsilon naught V by D into X plus X by D. Now after that, we will find out, after this now we have to find out force on the plate number 3. So what are the forces which are acting on the plate number 3? Let us calculate that. What is the force which is acting on the plate number 3? Okay. So the first force which is acting on plate number 3 is, first force which is acting on the plate number 3 will be the force by minus sigma 2 on this plus sigma 2. And this force which is acting in the upward direction, this force which acts in the upward direction will be equal to, this is the force by plate number 1, and the force by plate number 1 will be equal to the total charge on plate number 3, and the total charge on plate number 3 is, the total charge on plate number 3 is capital Q multiplied by the electric field given by the plate 1. So electric field E by plate 1. Remember, total charge on plate 3 is still capital Q, which is conserved. So total force on plate 3 by the plate 1 will be charge existing on plate number 3 multiplied by electric field produced by the plate number 1. And the plate number 1, electric field produced by the plate number 1 will be similar to the electric field of an infinite surface, because the plate number 1 is having charge on one side only, and therefore it will act like infinite sheet of charge, for which the electric field can be written as sigma 2 divided by 2 times of epsilon 0. Right? Okay. And the electric and the force by plate number 2 and the force by the plate number 2. What will be the force by plate number 2? So the force which is by the plate number 2, let us suppose it is in the upward direction, and the force by plate number 2 is now equal to charge on this plate multiplied by the electric field by plate number 2, which is again obtained by the same reasoning, that plate number 2 will act like infinite sheet of charge having density sigma 1. So sigma 1 divided by 2 epsilon 0. And one more force will be present on this plate, which is the force of gravity, that is mg. So the total force which is acting on this plate will be now equal to q times sigma 2 divided by 2 epsilon plus q times sigma 1 divided by 2 epsilon and minus mg. This is the total force on the plate number 3. Now I have to replace the value of sigma 2. I have to replace the value of sigma 1 here. So what I will get is q by 2 epsilon 0, and then I will replace the value of sigma 2, which is epsilon naught v over d square into d plus x, and then plus sigma 1. The value of sigma 1 will be replaced here. So it is epsilon naught v over d square into x, and then minus mg. So after simplification, if you simplify these factors and bring the similar terms in one bracket, then I will get as q v over 2d square minus mg as a constant term, and then you will also get one more term as q v over d square, right? And this d plus x, and here it is x, so it is q by 2 epsilon 0. So this is qv over d square, right, into x. That is the value of the second term. Right, this is the force, where the charge q will be replaced by area epsilon naught into v over d. So you can replace the charge by this value also, and then you will simplify. Now notice that this net force is a linear function of, notice that the net force obtained on the plate 3 is a linear function of x. And as the value of x increases, the force on plate number 3 will also increase. Force on plate 3 is increasing with the distance small x. As this distance small x goes higher and higher, the net force acting on this plate 3 increases. That means the minimum force on this plate number 3 will be when x will be 0. The minimum force on the plate number 3 will be for the location x equals to 0, because the force is linear function of x, and moreover, as we increase the value of x, the force goes on increasing. So therefore, the minimum force on plate number 3, the minimum force on the plate number 3 will be this much factor. This is the minimum force on the plate number 3. That is the minimum force, and that will happen for x equal to 0. That means that at the initial moment, the force on plate number 3 is minimum, and that minimum force must be more than a positive value, because at the initial moment, if the minimum force is negative, that means the force is in the downward direction. Plate number 3 will never rise upward. Once it start rising, we know that force on plate number 3 will be increasing by the, as the value of x increases, the force on plate number 3 also increases. So we have to ensure that the minimum force acting on plate number 3, which was at x equal to 0, has to be a positive value. Then only plate number 3 will start rising up, and then after, the force on plate number 3 will become bigger and bigger, and that means it will move under the variable acceleration between the plate number 2 and plate number 1. So the required condition for this question will be that this minimum force has to be positive. This minimum force has to be a positive value. So if I replace the value of q also in this term, then I get a epsilon naught v by d as the value of q, and then we have v over 2d square. So it will be v square upon 2 into d cube, and then minus. Okay, sorry, there is a mistake. There is a mistake. There will not be d square. This will be only d. Okay, because if I multiply this, I will only get d at the bottom end. So this is a mistake part. Okay, no problem. So it is d square and then minus mg, and that has to be positive value, and therefore v must be more than square root of 2mgd square over a epsilon. That is the answer for this particular question. Thank you and take care. Bye bye.